Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Assalatu salam ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Halim wasalim bikum. I had a lot of difficulties today, brothers and sisters, with breaks from the enemy who are disconnecting my net, everything. And I see here, even by the counter, I'm not even sure I'm on because it's cutting through and whatnot. Um, please say, yeah, see me. I'm not even sure what's going on here. Um, but I got an interesting topic today, brothers and sisters. Um, and it's a very deep subject, and it's basically dealing with the concept of Africa, as we know the name, and the black man, and the ancestral names of Africa and whatnot. But I'm going to go deeper into this by using the Sufi mystic, their philosophy, as far as what Africa represents. So this is going to be a different type of talk. It's going to be part of Islam, and of course, African history is in this. But I'm covering this for education purposes, and a lot of this is my conjecture on what is actually is being felt. And because this is a very, very, very sensitive topic, in that Black people today, especially outside of Africa, are still wrestling with the thought of what they are. Yeah, they're Black. They're from Europe. They're from Canada or the United States or whatever. They're Black. But there's a lot of things we have lost, and we have not gotten to the significance of them. I'm hoping to put this bridge there so that way you can climb on it and start to reclaim what our ancestors left us. And this is what I'm going to talk to you about. And it's important, brothers and sisters, that we understand these aspects in order for us to be whole, because we're the only ones on this continent that have a severe problem about their blackness. Everyone is secure about their whiteness. Everybody's secure about them being yellow or brown. Everybody's secure, but us about our blackness, of course, we have opposition. And I'll say this to you. How many friends do the Black people have? None. We don't have friends at all. This is why this is important, that we understand ourselves and why we are alone. See, so I'm going to get into this, brothers and sisters, and I'm going to start first with this. I'm going to tell you why I'm starting with that. This is a genetic code that is germane to Black folk only. Our ancestral brothers who were in Kemt, which we know as Egypt, Tamari, and I'll get into that, had a specific genotype that distinguishes us from other human beings. Even though our brothers and sisters left Africa into other parts of the world, and they became others, but this here gives you a code. These codes are still germane to the African American, the Caribbean African, the South American African. We still have this because we became the West Africans when we left, as you heard me say this many times. I'm starting with this to get you prepared about how I'm going to present this to you so you can understand. And I'm encouraging any comments. Of course, give your greetings and whatnot, and we be polite to one another. And any type of tomfoolery of any sort, I'm going to throw it out, because this is a talk. I'm your elder. I'm not here to play games. We're talking about a serious topic here, and we want to stay on cue. So this is the beginning of it. Is that DNA? It's a genetic code, brothers and sisters. And you see it, my marquee here, I'm giving you something about this. The code of faith, understanding Allah and his power, is Ra, Afra-ka. You find these three in the languages of our people today. This is why the enemies of us tried to make sure we did not, when they took us out, we had no relations with our languages anymore. And why in 330 or 340 AD, the Roman Church sanctioned the murder of the African scribes, because they wanted to wipe away all this history. They did not want you to have the genetic code. They were going to prepare you to start to believing in them, which we have done. Because we had all the suppositories, we had all of the intelligence, everything that you want, from surgery, of eye surgery, heart surgery, you have problems in the body, so forth. In interstellar space, we had all of this. They wanted to make sure that they conquered us, and they wanted to make sure that they removed this from us, so we would be blind and we would follow them. And in time we did, and we still follow them today. Some historians were very good, like Herodias. Herodias explained when he was there, this is by the 27th dynasty, there were only about 4 or 5, there was 3 dynasties left now. The ancient Kemetic people still were black folk. This is why all of this arguing you see today, you see all the pundits, racist Arabs, Toubab, even North Africans, even black Toubab, are trying to insist that black folk had nothing to do with Kemt until the 25th dynasty, after thousands of years. This is not true. Because even by the 27th dynasty, which is almost closing out the Kemetic empires, the Kemetic kingdoms, here is Herodias, who gave the description still of the black folk. And that's important. So today we use the term Africa and Africans. This is a very aspect that we are going to discuss today. Now, let's look at something here. I'm going to get this to you so you guys can see this, because I want this part in back of your mind. Here, okay, I don't know how to take this. I hope to edit. I'm trying to get this out. Okay, so that I can put this in. I'm having a lot of difficulties, brothers and sisters, with the electronics today. Hopefully, I'll get this straightened out. This here is an important aspect, brothers and sisters. Excuse me, I'm still here. Please excuse me. I'm still here. I want you to look at this concept, and I want you to see this concept, and then think about this concept. Amina, please, a little bit down. Okay. The continent is a tri-name phenomenon. The code of faith of understanding Allah or Yahweh, any name you want, is Ra-ka. And we'll get further into that. And we'll start here now with this. They call themselves names, our ancestors called themselves names that were reflective of themselves. Now we're talking about ancient Kemt. Those who don't understand that, Egypt is a term designated from white folk on black people. This is not the term we used. Our ancient ancestors did not use this. But we still have black folk today insisting that we still use this. I have to use it as for educational purposes, but I do not include that when I put a map. I put Tom Mary there because this is one of the names that they used. But here is the interesting part, brothers and sisters. If you looked at my marquee today, I said about this word here, Kemtiyu. And I didn't put the other, Neheshi. These two names are indicative of what they call themselves, coming from Kemt, known as ancient Egypt, going all the way across into the Great Lakes region, which covers the Congo all the way across to the Cameroons, where the beginning and so forth of where the Nile came from. They established themselves and they made sure that generations knew that they were Black. This established codes of conduct about the aptitude of their Blackness. So you heard me say many times, you hear brothers in the United States talking, we had ancestral Pan-Africanists and Black nationalists and so forth. So they had nothing on our ancestral brothers. Our ancestral brothers started it all. And they used these codes in order for us to understand. This is why our enemy is so insisting on making sure that our heroes are white. They're making sure that our history is labeled that it's them, not us. We came on for the ride. It's us, it's them who taught us. It's the exact opposite. Because when they came to Messer, when they came to Kempt, to Tahmeri, they were not educated until they came into our suppositories, and then they went back into Greece, into Rome, and then they began to teach this. And by many thousands of years later, they began to what? To rewrite the history, regurgitate the same history they learned from their ancestors who came to Kempt. So they tried to hide and bury these languages. This is why Kemtiyu and Neheshi is important for you, brothers and sisters, to know. This is the term designating. Neheshi is a very Black person. Kemtiyu is Black people. But the people were going down south, which I'll show you the map in a minute. As you know, present day today, Habasha, which is again, the name is proper for us, but Ethiopia is again a name that was designated by white folk for us. Going southwards, the people were incredibly Black. So they used the term Neheshi and even called the region one of the names of this, Neheshi. These are codes. I'm going to get further into this. The Toubab explorers, subsequent invaders, considered these names unacceptable. The names that we have for ourselves, for our land, they considered it unacceptable. And a lot of it is because of language. They could not pronounce our languages. They could not learn it very well. So what they did, they began to change it. They knew by those who learned the suppositories that Kempt was named. Tahmeri's the other name. They knew this. But what they did is they changed it into Egypticus. You see? So they wiped away the ancestral names of our brothers and stuff by calling us Egypticus, meaning Egyptians. This is not what our people, our ancestors called themselves. They called themselves Kemtiyu. And those in the which we call in the South today, in the South. But this is, again, I'm giving you for educational purposes to the South. We have people very, 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 very Black. Because not all Black folk were the same color. But then they had the term Neheshi. So now I hope you get this education. And now I'm giving you this basis on what we're talking about. When they went further south, they didn't like to hear this name, Taseti. So it created Nubia. Nubia is not our language. It's not from our language, brothers and sisters. The region that we know of is Ethiopia today, Eritrea, Somalia, and so forth and so on, had different names. See, we know part of it because my ancestor Shabaka, who ruled in the 25th dynasty, they have in the hieroglyphics Kasha, Kasha, meaning for this region to the northeast. Okay, we got here. Let me see. Let me introduce some of our people here. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. I forgot to put you in there. Thank you, my dear cousin, for showing up. Walaikum salam. Thank you very much for showing up today. And we got our brother King Cam. Thank you very much, my dear brother. Please subscribe to his station. And it's important that we support one another. He has a very, very good platform. Very easy to learn. He's a bookworm, so to speak. He has books upon books, and he's an avid reader of our history, and he tries to give this history to our people. So please subscribe to King Cam's podcast. Please subscribe to him. Thank you, my dear brother. And our brother says here, teachers are returning back to school this week. Oh, okay. So now you're going to be back into the grind again. Yep. Oh, yep. So that vacation is over, my dear brother. So let's get back into this. So we have this concept now, and our enemies bastardize the names, our true names for ourselves, the regions they lived in. Consider these regions a booty, meaning they consider these regions only something that they can take for themselves. They did not consider this region sacred. For them, it was something because they did not have, they had a belief system, yes, but they were believing in thousands of gods. So when they came to this region, they saw how pious our ancestors were. They saw it as something that they can use. As we know, they're still doing it today. After 5,000 years, they're still using us. So this was the exact opposite of what our ancestors believed. See, now you'll say, okay, well, what do you mean by that? Let's look at this. As you see here, the names here, and I wrote this so you can understand it better in this way with the vowels and so forth and so on in it. Mary. Now you notice, because if you look at the Nile, the Nile River, you know it runs against gravity, goes from the south to the north, which is against the gravity. So you have to switch this around, but this is the way you would look at it if we were up in the sky. Mary is Egypt. Seti is present-day Sudan and the region like that. Nesher is another area which they call Punt and so forth and so on. But that, I have some contentions on that because sometimes this name is being confused with the name that our ancient, our brothers in Kemp also used a name to describe another region that they said where they originally came from. And so this is why here. Now, our great ancestors had a name because if you look, the Nile came from the southwest and feed into the Nile, which goes up to the north. Again, you look at something, brothers and sisters, the names that our ancestors laid down were beautiful names: Holy Land, the holy place, and so forth and so on. See, and so again, we did not use their names. This is names they put on us, and those names still stuck with us today. And this is what makes this why it's important. I'm leading you to the fact about Black people. Just hold on, because I got to give you this historical background. Oh, I don't want to get you into that yet. I'll get further into that. So, Black people, Africans is what we call ourselves. Is this really what we are? So let's go more into this. Are we Africans? Is this name really truly representative of us? Our ancestors disused this name, and even it didn't. And this is wrong. I don't know how this got changed around. They did not use, our ancestors did not use this name. Okay, I'll show you more into that. They did not use this name. This name was bestowed upon us. This is why I'm talking about this today. The Sufi, a part of Islam, a branch of Islam. Now we have Sufi, what is called Sufi Bid'ah, who are into a lot of things that are outside of the Sunnah, and then we have the Sufi Sunnah people. And I don't want to get deep into it to give you the philosophy. I thought about it, I said this many times, to give a class so people can understand. When you hear about Sufi, a lot of people don't understand what it means. And the breakdown of the genesis is that all Muslims are actually Sufi, because even the Nabi Islam was that. I won't get to the definition of that, but it is branched off today where we have all type of what we call innovations, and these are attributed to those who are Sufi. But we have Sufi mystics who maintained the Sunnah, but they had a deep faith for Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and they had visions, which you heard me talk about here about a month ago, which I talked about a drug that they found. And they found this drug, and this drug was something that they, that they have now discovered, talking about perhaps this might lead us into the interstellar, maybe a portal of some sort that is used. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that. I covered that. I won't get more into that. I already covered this particular topic. So the Sufi got into this, and they returned the continent into the place of beauty, mysticism, and wonder, a place where Allah placed man. See, the Sufi Muslims went back to the way the ancestors looked at Africa, as we understand Africa today. I'm using Africa as a context for education. The Sufi went back now, and I'll start to go into that. And they begin to return the continent into a place of beauty, mysticism, and wonder, a place where Allah placed man, give us who give us a prophet to explain the oneness of his name. If you look at the documents of ancient Kemt, they were Tawheed. Of course, they had branches during the kingdoms that they got away from. Every era we have this. Every 1,000 years we have Tawheed, which is oneness of Allah or Yahweh, the names that you want to use, and then we'll get away from that, and then we'll go back to Tawheed. Okay, we have this. So a place where Allah placed man. And of course, there was a prophet. It's just that we do not know who this prophet was. The Sufi was ahead of modern black folk. They returned the continent in place of beauty, a place where, again, where the prophets gave us this information that he received, and he used it. The Sufi would, wait a minute, no. You know what they did here, brothers and sisters? They came in here and changed and took out a whole bunch of my my notes. This is just, it's gotten to be ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I had a hard time trying to get into, because they broke into my account and they did all kind of things, so forth. And they took out my notes, and but that's okay. That's quite okay. Now, let's get into names of Africa. One of the most powerful and one of the most original names that our people used, Al-Kibalun, excuse me. This is one of the original names that was used by our ancestors. It will amplify beauty and wonderment, motherland of all mankind. Now you see, Africa, in this context that was given to us by the Toubab, has nothing to do with the wonderment of the continent, has nothing to do with the remembrance of Subhanahu wa ta'ala. It didn't have nothing to do with the motherland. It was a name that they bestowed on us that had some mysteries to it because they couldn't understand it. It had nothing to do with the sacredness of our land that our ancestors considered. This is why they were careful when they went to some place, they named it. They did not give it a bad name. They gave a name of meaning. See, this is important. This is one of the original names that was used. You know what they did, brothers and sisters? It's amazing. They went in and they took out my notes, so they put the same notes in for the other ones they removed. So most of my notes are just about gone. They removed them. Okay, now this name here is used by the Moors, use this name, and our Taiseti ancestors and those of Habasha. Again, if you say, well, I don't understand what this is, you better use Ethiopia. No, the Ethiopians themselves know that this is not the name that was given. This is the name that was given to them by the Toubab, because they had no other name. Ethiop actually means black, but it has something to do with Greek and Latin. It has nothing to do with our Metaneher or any African dialects. In this region, this is another name, Habasha. This is a name that was used for that region. But they used this term here, here, of this name that they used to describe Africa as they knew it. Another name, brothers and sisters, that they used was Afra-ka, was another name that was used to describe the continent, meaning motherland. It has nothing to do with Africa, because again, when the Europeans came to the continent, they listened to us as we described ourselves and our continent. Yes. So they took some parts of it, but they still did not understand it, and they put Africa there on it. But they did not have the meaning of what our ancestors, why they called it Afra-ka. They didn't understand why they called it that. But our ancestral brothers and sisters knew what it meant, because they were in awe of what Subhanahu wa ta'ala put before them. They were in awe what Subhanahu wa ta'ala put that had them in charge of it. The beautiful land that they had, water, game, food, and so forth, weather. See, so this is how they had this. And the ancestral land that was sacred, they believed that. A wonderment that which glorifies Allah. This is the difference between us and the Toubab. The Toubab says, I'm coming to your continent. I'm going to rename all of the continent, which he did. And I'm going to call it names I say you are. And this is why I'm talking today, to give you names so you can understand what you are. What you adopt is your business. I'm going to give it to you, and you do your research in it. We got some more questions here, brothers. See, we got our sister. Thank you, my sister. Thank you very much for showing up. I hope you're doing fine. Hope Kyle and Carrie's doing fine as well. And our brother giving kudos to my sister. Thank you very much, my dear brother. Wa alaikum salam, my dear brother. Thank you for showing up today. I really appreciate that, Vincent. Thank you very much, my dear brother. And I hope you. Thank you, my dear sister, for talking to King Cam. Thank you very much, everybody, for showing up. So now we have this name, brothers and sisters. This is another name, and let's look at this for what it is. Afra-ka. This is a name that our people called it, the continent. This is why it's difficult, because it's African dialect, and it has a meaning. And our people assigned the continent with Subhanahu wa ta'ala's name in it, meaning that he said, okay, I saw this land is so beautiful. Afra-ka, or Africa, or these names. And they begin again to describe Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Afra-ka was another name used to describe the continent, meaning motherland. ancestral name that was sacred. This is important, brothers and sisters, for each one of us, that we should start to go back to name, even when we give our classes, we should go back to using these names. And not the names that the Toubab has given us, because it has nothing to do with what our ancestors believed the continent to be. This is why this is important. Now we get into something. For those who are Fulani or phobic community, now I'm going to get deeper into this. The Futa Fula, our ancestors, okay, and our brothers who they're close to, the doggone people in Mali, as we understand today, were very spiritual in one time in ancient Kemt. They had the name Afra-ka. So the Europeans again heard these names. But here is the meaning. And I'm going to get more into this. Into describing themselves and their land. There was no separation between the land and themselves. Because even though they took out some of my notes here, I will get into that because they removed a lot of notes in here. But they used this name. Look what they mean by this, brothers and sisters, and why this is important. Afra-ka. The doggone used it, and also with the Fulfulde Messina dialect, because the doggone people had their own, but they used the Fulani dialect, we call it the Messina Fulfulde, as their basis in their language, especially when they describe the inner space and when they describe the continent. They told us that the meaning of the continent, think about this, brothers and sisters. Now I'm getting into this. The meaning of the continent meant first, son, and soul. This is deep. This is our African ancestors, what they called the continent. First, and the sun and the soul. Because the sun always shined above it. And it's the place of the soul. This is where, again, where you heard me say here again about this. I'm leading you to this now. The continent is triname phenomena, a code of faith, understanding Allah and His power. Ra-ka-ba. And you saw the name here, the Ka, meaning first soul, first son, soul. See, again, this is how deep our ancestors were in connection to Subhanahu wa ta'ala. They know Subhanahu wa ta'ala placed them on this beautiful continent. They understood that. And they made sure that they described the land in order to honor Him above. See? And this is why this is important. The Ra-ka-ba. I'll go more into that. But you know Ra, because you heard every time you see something about ancient Kemt, you always see the name Ra. And of course, the Europeans, again, knew the meaning of it. But they changed it again to fit their concepts and to destroy us. See, so that's why this education here, brothers and sisters, is very important. It should help you in your faith, what you believe today. You're a Muslim. This will give you a deeper insight into Subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Subhanahu wa ta'ala, look, what did the Nabi alayhi say? He said that Subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to all peoples in all generations, right, and eras, a prophet. someone, a messenger, to convey Subhanahu wa ta'ala's message. Our ancestors had a message too, because we were the first ones received it. And the concepts of Ra, Ka, and Ba was essential in it. Africa has this component in it. Now you understand what the genesis of Afra-ka. See, now you understand what it actually means. Not the way the Europeans, the Toubab, have laid it down, but what our ancestors are trying to tell you what it meant. Now, Africa was a name that was replaced our ancestral name for the continent. This name doesn't reflect Allah's beauty and grace and mercy. It does not. What they have said is a place of mystery, and they leave it as that. It's a place of darkness, a place that they don't understand. So they called it, and they said he named it after one European who came to discover it. How can they discover it when we were already on the continent? You understand, brothers and sisters, what I'm talking about? How can they turn back around as though they entered Africa first, okay, Africa, or whatever names we want to use, and they discovered it? It's the other way around. We were already here. So how can they discover something when we were manning the continent? It was ours. You see what I mean? So this name that they use does not reflect, but the names that we have chosen does reflect Subhanahu wa ta'ala's beauty and grace and mercy. And again, we go back to this again, Afra-ka. Okay, now, meaning first son, soul. Why? Because the first mean the motherland. We were the first ones. Our ancestors were keen to this, brothers and sisters. They left us a code to let you know, you black man in America, you black man in the Caribbean, you black man sitting in France and Spain, you black man who's sitting in Morocco, or you sitting in the Gambia or Togo or any other place in South Africa, or you in Mozambique, any place that you're sitting today. They want you to know, brother, that this name has a deep meaning to it. It had something to do because they saw the power of Subhanahu wa ta'ala. They saw the sun rise. They saw that they were first on the land. They saw the sun. They understood the sun. They knew the sun was the basis and the genesis of life. And then the soul, they know that we died. This is where the name Ka comes in, and Ba, which you heard me talk about many times, talking about ancient Kemt. Our ancestors were keen to that. This is why this is important. The continent, a tri-name phenomena, a code of faith. Ra, Ka, Ba. Now, the Toubab arrival in Kemt or Tahmeri was based upon faith. Their arrival was not based. It was not based on faith, brothers and sisters. They came as conquerors. They came to look. They came to see what was going on in our land. See, but they were made to understand later, or to understand. They did not understand Ra, Ka, Ba. They did not understand that because they were still primitive people. If you look at the hieroglyphics when they describe the Toubab, now of course you see the movies they bring the prettiest white girls and the most handsome white men, and they put them in movies and they showed them as, you know, coming in Armani suits. They came into ancient Kemt. Our brothers described them very well. They said they came with long reddish brown beards and they had animal skins. This is how they described the first Toubab when they came into Kemt. So this movie crap that you see showing them beautiful this, that, and Armani suits and all this other crazy stuff and costumes is not true. Our ancestors described them good. They said they came half naked, they came in animal skins, and they had real long beards. This is what they said. So they had no concept of, we understand the principles of the confessions of Allah. They didn't have that. They had to learn that. So he was made to understand it, but then he betrayed us and he changed his concept and took it from us. And then he killed all our scholars off to bury it because he wanted you to worship him. And What is Eurocentric Christianity today? All the brothers and sisters here who are Christians. Why is it you see they changed everything around? They told you to put a picture of one of the greatest prophets that Subhanahu wa ta'ala known is Jesus. You know him, we know him as Isa. We in the Arabic language and in the Quran, they changed everything to white and made you worship that. This is a bad concept. Now, the Toubab was made to understand, and they begin to understand that because they saw our ancestors, how pious they were. And they begin to understand that. They start to see now the concepts that they had, how the name we know today as Africa was actually really, really meant to our ancestors and what they meant to them. And so we had the code to really bring it out. Again, brothers and sisters, why you heard me say this. This is no slight on anybody else. Please don't misunderstand me on this. Subhanahu wa ta'ala has gave the Fotofola community something. In the ancient times, we were known as the Ka people. Why do you think they call us the Ka people? Because the Fulani people in ancient times were so deeply religious that the people began to call them Ka. Today, Ka is important word, two syllables, two names, a name that's prevalent deep into our language today. See, we still have this concept. And so when they called the continent, they made sure that the continent and the future of the Fulani people would understand it, which they lost. They went away from Subhanahu wa ta'ala, began to worship all kinds of things, and Subhanahu wa ta'ala laid them naked on the land, so to speak. Here our ancestors, here in the what we know as the Fulfulde dialect, the Messina Fulfulde line, along with the doggone brothers, they gave a definition to tell you, brother today, who's sitting in northern Nigeria, you brother today, who's sitting in Senegal, or whatever you may be, that this name, Afra-ka, means first, son, and soul. First, meaning we were the first ones, us. And then our sun is drenched, our land is drenched with sun. The sun is what makes us go and keeps us living. If the sun dies out, we're dead within minutes. You know that. Because it gets so cold, everything freezes up and it'd be over. Our ancestors understood this. They did not worship it. What you heard me talk about in another class, King Cam, if he's still here, he talks about the same issue as well. So let's see our brothers and sisters, let's see some of their concepts here, what they have to say. Our brother Vincent, what is your source of information? My source of information is dealing with the forthcoming by day and night, which is essentially the Bible of our ancient Kemetic brothers in ancient Egypt. Okay, I'm using Egypt as an education. That's one of the sources. Other is Sufi. The Sufi, we have a deep understanding, meaning that we took names. Now, these names, because you have to understand the African dialects. If you don't have that basis, this doesn't make sense in the sense of saying, well, you say, well, I don't know, how did this come about? Our African ancestors had a language. It's just that the language that you know today just didn't evolve, and that's all. It evolved from Meteneher, from the ancient Kemt. And so this is where these names coming from. Ka, Ba, Ra, all this comes from that. So if you get to understand Meteneher, then you understand what I'm talking about. When you begin to understand the Fulfulde dialect, meaning the Fulani people, they speak, now you understand what I'm talking about. When you start to understand Hausa, you'll understand what I'm talking about. When you start to understand Yoruba and Igbo and all the other West African dialects, then you'll say, oh, shit, yeah, now I understand what he's talking about. But when you don't understand any of the dialects, it may, you'll say, well, I don't understand what he's talking about. I'm talking about because I have familiar with the African dialects. That's what I'm talking. I'm giving you the names that our ancestors did give. And our brother here, thank you, my dear brother. Thank you for showing up today. Okay, our brother here is greeting somebody again. And our brother says, peace, thank you very much. And here we go, our brother, that comes from the Egypt. Yes, yes, but you got to get the book. You have to get the book forthcoming by day and night. It's now translated in English language. This is a must if you want to understand what I'm talking about. There's a lot of aspects because you have to rethink. You can't think like a Christian, so to speak, okay? You can't think in this regard. Islam is the closest to what our ancestors, because they were the first ones who believed in Subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's just that the Europeans changed the black man to stop the concept of worship Subhanahu wa ta'ala. He started to make you worship men and so forth and so on, and gave you confusion in the Christian faith. But this comes from that, yes. But we had documents. We had also the pirates of Ra and so forth and so on. You got to get this in order to understand the basis of what we're talking about here. You got to understand that. And once you get that, that's why I'm giving it to you today, my dear brother, so that way you can start to get into it. Then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, they also didn't know about the hygiene. Yes, the Europeans did not know. They didn't have this. Matter of fact, this filthiness stayed with the Europeans. Even the Norway, you know, when the Vikings came to the West, they themselves described their other white brothers, the Toubab brothers. They even called them names. They said they were living in caves and eating raw meat. This came from the brothers from the north. So I didn't make this up. This is what they described them as. So, you know, this is very interesting, isn't it? See, so they did not have hygiene. Who created perfume? They did, because the Europeans did not take baths. Read it, look it up. It's the proper scholars will tell you that. So this is something. We didn't have this problem on this continent here. We were very clean because this is part of the belief system. See? Yes. Yes, I'm using, Arabic and Mehranar. Yes, I'm using that so our brother Vincent can kind of understand. This is why I want our brother to start to go into this, and now he's got the basis. Because in order for you to get to this basic knowledge, you got to go to the book forthcoming by day and night. You can order King Cam. I think he has it. You can get it from Amazon, if I'm not mistaken, and he's in a book thing. You can get with King Cam, and you should get this book and start to get to understanding and whatnot, because then it'll start making sense to you. And also, you pray to Subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the things we as Black people have forgotten, because we were taken from it, is the art of prayer and the right prayer. Our ancestors had it. This is why Subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them riches upon riches. No man today can sit in LA or Texas or any other place and map out a solar system. I'm sorry, it's not possible. But our brothers did it in ancient times. Who gave them that power? It wasn't the Toubab. Who gave the power of a man sitting in ancient Kemt who can sit there and look up in there in the stars up there, huh? And then chart out the system. Or our brothers, the doggone people there in Mali, chart out the Sirius system and said there's a 3-star system, okay? Now, with the naked eye. You guys think about that. Thank you, my dear brother. Thank you very much for showing up. And we got here our brother here, Salam bro. Why are we first to embrace Islam in Africa? Well, because we've always been religious. And again, my dear brother, you know what's funny about this? If you look at ancient Kemt, the people, the Fulani people were not Fulani people. They didn't understand that was not used. This word, even Fulani, came from the Hausa, but I'm using it for education. We were not known as that. We were known as Ka and Sao. This is what they called us, Sao. That's the name that they called us, and Ka. because the Ka was, we were very deeply religious. This is why you see we still carry these names today. Bari, we still have that. Sao is still another name that's in the Fulani dialects. Ka Ra is still in the dialect. When Subhanahu wa ta'ala finally gave from the final messenger, he sent his people to the region. He came to the edges of the Sahara, okay, to the southern reach of territories of the Sahara. Who he come across? The Fulani people. The Fulani people then took this and spread it. It wasn't the Yoruba, it wasn't the Mende, it wasn't the Mendika, it was the Fulani people. They took it and they took it from the north and they began to spread it out down to the central, out to the east, and out to the west. The Fulani people began to spread it. See, and yes, you're right. Is it because of culture? That is a lot to do with it as well. The Pulaco has to do, again, brothers and sisters, if you go back to my courses on ancient Kemt, I gave something, and I gave a short thing on the negative confessions. There's 42 of them. And there's also positive confessions. Pulaco is a part of that. They took from ancient Egypt, ancient Kemt. Because if you look at this, it's a guide for you, black man, who are not religious inside the United States or in the Caribbean. You want to start your journey towards Subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is one of the starts. If you don't want to become Muslim, this is one of the starts. By looking at those confessions, the negative confessions, it's 42 of them, and they're positive confessions. There's another 42 of that, and it gives you basis. Don't steal. Don't this sound familiar? The Bible copied from that. Don't steal. Don't covet the neighbor's wife. No, not murdering. Don't give false testimony. All of this our ancient ancestors wrote about. And you'll find this in the what is called the Book of the Dead. It's the English version of this, but it's called the Book Forthcoming by Day and Night. And it's very interesting. And I'll get to some more of this, and I get the Quran says that Allah is the light of his. Yes, and this high implies that to me that Allah is the sun. No, is the sun. It can't. No, it's not. No, my dear brother. If you look at, I'll give you a basis of this. I think he took some of my notes out of here, but you look at Surah 91. Surah 91, verse 5, I believe it is, where Subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the sun and the universe. He said he's behind it. This is verse 91. He's giving you the indication because our ancestors had this task also of understanding Subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not the sun that they want to worship. It's the source behind it. That's where the term Amen-Ra came in. The Europeans changed it to go at us by saying we were just sun worshipers. Sit up there and gaze all day at the sun, and that's all. It's not true. We understood Amen-Ra to mean the hidden source behind it. Subhanahu wa ta'ala again confirms this in Surah 91, which is called Shems, means the sun. He talks about in verse 5, he says that he is the creator. It's him who built the universe. It's him who mans it and commands it and orchestrates it. See? So I hope that gets that to you without getting more, because this is not a full Islamic class, but I'm giving you the base so you can get your research. I saw a video earlier that Fuller said that they are the tribe of Dan. Yes, there's a lot of there's a lot on that. I did a class about the real Hebrews. I disagree in the sense that we're not that. Reason why I say that is because when we became what we know, we were known as South. We did go into the Middle East. Maybe some of us became Hebrews. It's true, but our basis of that was not that. See, there are also Muslims that came from Kemt. Yes, but we were originally from Kemt. That's the thing. That's why I'm telling you now. We were known as Ka, and we were also known as Sau. And we came out from Ta-Seti. Again, as you know, it is Nubia region, but it's Ta-Seti and Ta-Naheshi. It is interesting how they are all people. It is beautiful. Yes, it is. It's a beautiful history. Okay, I don't know who our brother means elaborating here. Okay, yeah, and yes, uh, yes, a lot of this, yes, has to do meaning star and whatnot. The contention is that our enemies have contend that black folk were worshiping the sun. It's not true. If anyone did it, they did it against what the beliefs were. The concept of Ka had nothing to do with worshiping the sun. The concept of Ka tells you who's behind it. That's where we got this Amen Ra from. And to make it even further for you Muslims, you guys understand something. Subhanahu wa ta'ala had his hand in it. We use the name Amin. Our ancient ancestors used this term, and I gave a class on this. Amin also. Amen, Amin, Ra. All is connected. All of it. And our brother, because you would place your name in the praise by saying, I have not stolen. Yes. When you get into this, for those brothers who are not religious, they don't believe. Okay, I'm not here to convert anybody. I'm just telling you that you want to move closer to Subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't want to be Muslim. You don't want to be Christian. Okay, because there's no compulsion in Islam. But you go to your ancestors, our ancient ancestors of Kemp, and look what they believed. King Cam here is giving you something about that. There's a positive and negative confessions. Beautiful. Don't steal. Don't covet our neighbor's wife. So forth. So came out of the Bible came thousands of years after this. They stole that. But I talked about that in another class. I won't get deeper into that. No fornication. All of this stuff is covered. All of this, and this will give you a basis to help you with your relationship with Subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then one more, and then I have to go back to our thing here. Okay, as our brother said, yeah, okay, yeah, here we go. Our brother says here, agree about who we worship power behind the sun, not yes. And Subhanahu wa ta'ala made sure that we understand that. And our ancient ancestors of Kemp also told us that's why they had the concept of Amen Ra, meaning the source hidden behind it, which we cannot see. We don't know what he looks like. We know he is the orchestrator of the sun and the universe. We know it. Subhanahu wa ta'ala confirms this again to the Muslims in Surah 91, Surah Shims. He confirmed this concept of saying to you, black man, that the sun is him who controls it. It's him who orchestrates that. It's him who orders the rotations. It's him who's behind it. See, so all these concepts, brothers and sisters, are in it. This ka, this ra, ka, ba, which here now, ra meaning the sunlight, but meaning the sun, but the orchestration, the sun behind it. Who is behind it? Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ka is the spirit you have in your body. Brothers and sisters, the Sufi will tell you straight, we believe this, and we also we have many scholars who will get deeper into this. I'm giving you basis that our ancestors had before the Muslims had it, that was reintroduced back into the Subhanahu wa ta'ala said, look, I've had enough of all of the conversions, the corruptions of my word and my books. The Bible corrupted, the Torah corrupted. He said, I had enough. I'm going to bring forth a prophet, Prophet Muhammad, and I'll bring a book. It will not be corrupted. I won't allow it. So he introduced these concepts back again in the Arabic language. Ka is a spirit. Your body that you have, I want you to understand this, brothers and sisters, you black man. Your body that you have is not yours. It belongs to Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do you think it happens when you die and you see what happens? They say the spirit is taken from you. Inside you, you carry the spirit. Our ancestors understood that because Subhanahu wa ta'ala told the prophet who was there at that time to explain it to the people. So the concept of Ka, the basic Genesis concept of Ka, has to do with your spirit, which we call Ka. This here on this earth. When you die, that spirit that is inside the body will leave. The Ba is what we call the Arabic slang, the Ruh, meaning it's the soul. So the spirit and the soul meets. The Muslims, we understand that as well. So now you have that. If you look at the dialects from Central Africa, East Africa to West Africa, even all the way down to South Africa, you find the concepts of Ra, Ka, and Ba in it. Now, brothers and sisters, I gave it to you. Your name, who you are, in reference to what is not just Africa, what the Europeans called you. Now you understand what it actually means. And now you should have this basis. So profound is this, that our ancestors who became Pulo, the Fulani, who became the Hausa, the Yoruba, the Akan, the Mende, the Wolof, Jolof, it's misspelled, the Bambara, the Seri people, the Dogon people, the Mendika, all of the ethnic groups, Kapele, you name it, the Chamba, we got all these ethnic groups. Everybody has Ra, Ka, Ba in it that they took from ancient Kemt. It's there in our dialects. Brothers and sisters, it's undisputable. And our linguistic scholars have explained that. The Sufi understand that. The Sufi Muslim understands this aspect. He took Ra and he explained it in the Islamic standpoint, which I won't get deeper into. Now you have the basis on what you are and who you are in these names. I'll give you another name. Now, here is the part two, brothers and sisters, the Arabic. Ifriqiya, because in the Arabic language, there's there's a differences in the concepts, okay, and dialect. But you can also call, because we have this also, Ifriqiya. Now, yes, meaning the Queen of Heaven. Yes, brother. Ifriqiya, meaning the Queen of Heaven. Interesting, isn't it? The Queen of Heaven. So now you have that. Africa was a name that replaced our ancestral name for the continent. This doesn't mean it has no significance, only to the Toubab. He calls us that. He calls Africa Africans because, again, he considers us still primitive, mysterious. They don't understand us even today. They still don't understand us. So they bestow names upon us that make it this way. Negro, the Nigger, colored, all these other names, because he wants to distinguish us from the other human beings. So he keeps giving us names and designations that has nothing to do with who we are. And we keep accepting it. When he call you colored man, he call you Negro, he call you the N-word, he call you all of these names. These names are insignificant, meaning nothing. This is what he thinks about you. This is why he says that. But your ancestral brothers are telling you, look, I'm leaving this for you, my grandsons and granddaughters who will come in the future. So you can understand and have a concept of what it meant. Afra-ka, what it meant, the first son and soul. Now you have a basis of that. Meaning the original names of our ancestors used, meaning the motherland, the beauty and the wonderment of it. So now you should have a big concept of this. And Africa was a name that replaced the ancestral name, and it has no reflection. I've said this, and I keep making that point to you. It has nothing to do with anything. The Toubab arrived in Kempt, and Tom Mary was not based upon faith, as you heard me talk about. It was not. And so the Europeans begin to understand, the Toubab begin to understand that it was profound. as they begin to understand Meher and our brothers, they start noticing something about them. They start to notice that the references to three things, the Ra, Ka, and Ba. See, and as the Europeans begin to understand West African dialects in particular, he start to find, because the help of African linguistic scholars who begin to explain it to them, they find this Ra, Ka, and Ba entwined in all our dialects, showing you, brother, that you came from ancient Kemt. Don't let anyone else tell you is that you didn't. They want you to believe that you were a monkey that was created by Allah. You're put in West Africa in trees where you have banana in your mouth. You knew nothing until he came. He came to the land and he began to call you names. He said, I'm going to call you this. This is what you call yourself. This is what he wants you to believe. But now with all the evidence before us, okay, all the evidence that we have before us now is a lie. They said that we were in trees, we were created as monkeys, we were in rainforests, we were so stupid that we didn't even know how to get out of the rain. We stayed in trees and ate bananas. This is what they decided. But how do they reconcile this? These genetic codes here, brothers and sisters, is in relations to Ka, Ra, and Ba. And you see this. This is our DNA makeup. You, brother, who are Mende, you're there. You, brother, who are Yoruba, you're there. You, brother, who are Igbo, you're there. You, Fulani, your ancestors have this also, but you also have the Elo series, which I talked about previously, which my mother she was a Fulani woman. So she had the Elo series, which that's a complex series. LO1, LO2, there's a lot of that's also germane to Africa. I mean to ancient Kemt. This here, brothers and sisters, debunks the Europeans. I just saw something came yesterday in YouTube where this Toubab came and said, we have made the proof that the ancient Egyptians, of course, were white, because he took the mummies from the Romans who came as conquerors. He did not bother to look to the south, as we understand it, to go to the royal mummies, because the royal mummies don't have those codes. This is our codes. If you look at our mothers in America, you go back to our mothers and you'll find these codes there in it. You go to your father. Your father has the R series because of the Europeans raped our women in slavery. But when you look and find and you start doing your DNA, especially go to Jet Match, you start to find this. Now you should have a basis, brothers and sisters, to understand what I'm talking about. You, black man, who you are, and the name that you call. The name that you call this continent should not be quote unquote Africa per se. Now I gave you the basis. You should be able to call it something else. And you should be able to use the names that our brother, you go back over this and you get these terms. If you want to use Arabic, then you use Ifriqiya, meaning the queen of heaven. If you want to go with the Fafodi dialect and the Dogon dialect and some of the other dialects to the western corridor of the Sahel, you use the word Afra-ka. This is the more profound meaning here. Others, if you want to use another part of the dialect, Afra-ka, this is another. Once you start pronouncing it over, they say, the experts say, if you say this more than 20 times, repeatedly after 20 times, it becomes a memory. So this is another name used to describe us and our continent. See, and so forth. Motherland. We loved this continent. We knew it was magical. We knew it was mysterious. We knew something was going on. We saw the sun come every day. We started to see things, and we begin to appreciate that. So we begin to call the land these names. And our ancestors knew of that. See, and so again, our brothers and sisters used this far back, even to the Moors, when they began to make the Moors as we understand today. You know, the Fulani people are part of the Moors. I had a discussion today with brother. I can't think of who he's not. He did come, but me and I was in Messenger. He was talking about this issue, and the Moors used this term as well. The Fulani people were some of the first quote unquote Moor people because they went into Andalus, and I gave the class. I won't cover that again right now, but you see the basis of this. And what also is essentially important, brothers and sisters, is when we start to look at things, we have something here, and I'm showing you this because I want you to understand something. Or I talked about this in my class, but why this is so important. You see here, these are girls who are there today, and you as understanding ancient Egypt, but we are Kemtiyu. This is who we are. If you want to use what you are, this is meaning black people, black man, black folk. The ancient Egyptians had, the ancient Kemetic people, the Kemtiyu, had braids. This is another significance of the Fulani people, because the braiding system, because of the mixtures that the Fulani occurred as the Sao people, they begin to have a different makeup. We carried that style all the way up into modern times. You see our children here, and you look at the hieroglyphics, you see the same. It's very interesting. Okay, let me get back to our we got some of our brothers and sisters here got comments where did our sisters here. Okay, let's give here to our comments here and Steen. Okay, our brother here was just about asked about Ifrik. Yes, yes. I gave that to you, and it's I'm hoping that you guys start doing more of your research. And our brother said, "Yeah, please subscribe." Yes, please subscribe. You know, King Cam and I was kind of discussing this. You know, both of us, maybe perhaps more so me. There's a lot of difficulties. Nobody get announcements. We have a few people here and there get announcements, and that's it. And I was getting some advice from him. He was talking about email or something like this. My email is even compromised. It's very difficult. But I wanted something maybe in WhatsApp, and that way it's more guaranteed. And then that way I can get you content and so forth. But I got to see and I got to pray on this. I don't know how many people be interested in that, but I want to make sure that our brothers and sisters get this, because I have over 1,000 subscribers, and 99% of them never get any announcements. One brother wrote last week, he said, "You know what? I just have, because I didn't know what happened to you. I thought you were gone. Months, I haven't heard anything." When he pulled up my site, he found all of these videos, and he was angry. And I've been complaining to YouTube about this. And our brother says here, I think it was the first scene in 18 about the Caesar. The Moors used this term, but our scholars said it's even far more ancient, thousands of years before that. And of course, the Toubab have since destroyed this poem. Of course, they're going to destroy that. They're going to destroy any evidence showing that your intelligence. They want to make sure that the names that they gave and bestowed upon us is the names that we still call ourselves. You think they want us to use the name Kemtiyu to describe black people? No, they don't, because it ties you to ancient Kemp or ancient Ebers you know today. They don't want you. They want you to still use the word Negro, because that's what they call you. That's what they want you, because it means nothing. You're nothing to them. That's why they call you the N-word. That's why they want you to use the word Negro. And in a certain sense too, why they are pushing you with this. Now we have this. What do you call them? The FB. I forgot. F the Foundation, Black Foundation, something. I forgot whatever they call themselves. They want all that, because that way it leaves you in confusion. They want you. Oh yeah, go ahead and call yourself African American. This is what they want. So it's fine. See, but it's not. But are you really African American? See, what you think about that? So when the Japanese man come to you, Mohammed, or he comes to you, Larry or Jim or Bill, and he said, "Okay, Africa's a big continent. You're going to sit there really with a banana in your mouth now, huh? Because you won't even be able to tell you where you came from. That's why you need to know where you came from. Yeah, you can say Africa because he look at you, but he asked you a question. He said, where part of Africa are you from? This is what you're going to say. That's why it's important that you have to have this concept and you have to correct this. You got to correct this, brothers and sisters. Thank you. Hey, how are you doing, my dear brother? Long time no see again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my dear brother, for showing up. Yes, Stolen Legacy is another good book. There's a lot of books. King Cam has, you guys subscribe to him. King Cam has a whole list of books that you can really get into to help you. I read those books many years ago, when I was in the university and so forth. That many. And also, there's another good book, Stolen Legacy. Yes, these are beautiful books and so forth and so on. And we also have, yes, he wrote several. There's a lot of books out there, brothers and sisters, to get you up to speed. But the only thing that they're missing is that the deep concept of belief in Allah, because many of them don't have belief. So therefore, they have a lot of education to give us, but they don't get into something. See, and again, we have to go back to this. They don't give you this. They don't give you the code that is prevalent in the languages our forefathers when they came out of Kemp to West Africa. Why is Ra, Ka, Ba so essential in it? It's a religious code. It's giving you the basis of what Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gives. Again, Ra, the source behind the sun. Ka, your spirit, that your body is not yours, that Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gave you this body, but the spirit that's in it. And the Ba is the soul that is resting in the heavens. We know in Arabic it's Ra. See, they don't give you that. This is one of those books are beautiful. I'm not saying you cannot read. It's not, please don't misunderstand me. No, you get that, you read those books, you get a good education. But the Sufi will give you deeper meaning of what it is in Africa and also the dialect, the inner sources of these names of Afra-ka, Afra-ka, all these names. Why? What it means. It has the basis of Ra, Ka, Ba in it. You don't get that from many of these books. That's the only thing. So you have that because the Sufi Muslim, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has given us deeper meaning of this. And boy, I'm missing a lot of stuff here. Now, to further make my point, brothers and sisters, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, have you noticed, again, I'm giving you something about Islam. I'm giving you something to show you that Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has given a message to our ancestors about the same subjects again, about the sun, okay, and about the earth, the soul, and so forth, and the spirit. Now, what is the most prevalent star system that our ancestors really marveled about? It's the Sirius star system, which affected all Africans from Morocco down to South Africa. Subhanahu wa Ta'ala addressed the issue in the Quran. That's right, brothers and sisters. Now, this is the nexus for the Muslims for you to understand the deepness of it, and the Sufi have pointed this out. And Surah Najm, which is Surah 53, verse 49, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala tells you about the star system Sirius. Again, he wants you to understand about Sirius. He also known as Ash-Sira in Arabic. Subhanahu wa Ta'ala tells you, just like he tells you in Surah 91, it's him who's behind the Sirius star system. it's him who's behind the sun and the universe, which is in Surah 91. See? Now you have, I'm giving you basis. Being a black man is more than just your color. Being a black man, you're tied to a very mystical belief system. You're tied into something Subhanahu wa Ta'ala made you first. He gave you his power, his glory, his mercy, and he gave you intelligence. On the right is the Sirius star, which you can see is the brightest in the sky. It affected many human beings around the world, but the Africans had something more deeper in concepts to it. See, so this is something, again, brothers and sisters, I'm hoping I piqued your interest in this. I'm hoping that you guys will get this and you start doing your research. Because Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, again, gives you this. So you have two surahs to investigate. Surah 91, which is Surah Ash-Shams, meaning the sun. Subhanahu wa Ta'ala tells you it's him who's behind the sun. Sirius is very important because even to the primitive Arabs, everybody saw the star and they saw the bright star in the sky. They knew about that. But Subhanahu wa Ta'ala wanted to tell you, yes, the mystical nature of this star system, I'm behind it. See, so now you have that. And now I'm hoping, brothers and sisters, that you guys got a good portion of education on this and give you a lot of train of thought about this issue and whatnot, because it's very important. Because, you know, when you start looking at the people, and also you start to see the differences of black people and whatnot, and you start to see things like this. I talked about this woman who is encamped in Egypt today. You don't see these type of people, but they're still there. And you see over here one of the statues that they uncovered and stuff, and when they begin to find a lot of underground caverns and under pyramids and so forth and so on, they begin to find things written. You see, this sister still carries the hairstyle that many of our ancient Kemtiyu sisters had. Our Sufi Muslim brothers also have something. They are black people. They are Afra-ka. They are this. And many of our Sufi brothers understand this relationship of Ra, Ka, and Ba that most even Muslims don't understand today. They don't understand that concept. They don't understand this concept. But it's there. Even the Quran, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala even give it to us in the Quran. When he talks about Bismillah, Ra, see, Ra is in it. Rahman, all this, the Sufis have talked about this issue. The mystical name that this continent possessed, that Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gave it. He even told the Arabs, the Afro-Arabs, we know because the Arabs are black. He told them that this land, he called Afra-ka. He called it that, meaning Queen of Heaven. When you look at the Europeans and their designation of us, they don't, it has nothing, this is not a spiritual meaning to them. It's a damnation of you. This is what they call, it's a land of mystery. It's a land of darkness. Remember, they call it the dark continent because they call it dark continent, not because of the darkness of the sun. No, we have plenty of sun here, more sun than anywhere else in the world, but because of ignorance, stupidity, mysticism that they don't understand. They see us. And even to make it, you know, I used to laugh at this. I laugh now, but when I was a little kid, I never understood it because I know the racist whites, they say, oh, I see you African people. You guys don't have no clothes on. Well, let me tell you something. We did have clothes. But how can you wear a heavy coat when the weather is 100 degrees? Huh? Please. Super Watala made it because you had to open your body up in order, because you get heat stroke. Anybody walks around in West Africa in a big old heavy European coat that you have in winter, and you wear that in West Africa, you're a dead man. You're a dead man in three seasons of the season in the Sahara. You wear heavy clothes, you are in trouble. You're gone. You're going to die of heat stroke. All of these things, brothers and sisters, I'm reconditioning you to think not by screaming at you, not by cursing. No, I've given you evidence today. For those who came late, you go back and review this. See, Kemtiyu, meaning Kemt means black. Kemt is a word that is still used in many West African dialects, meaning black, charcoal. Yes, yes, yes. Our ancient ancestors in Kemti is the person, one like me, black man, Kemti. When we talk about all of black folk, Kemtiyu. Kemti is one person. Kem means black. Okay, black meaning itself. In the Wolof, in Jolof, in Sonike, many dialects throughout West Africa, Kem means black. Kemti is one black man. Kemtiyu is a black man in his family. So now you start to get this picture, brothers and sisters. You starting to have that. You start to get what your elders telling you today to give you this positive. Not just, this is not a feel-good moment. I'm giving you evidence that you can use. So when the racist Toubab or the racist Arab, the racist Latino come to you and talk bad about the continent, you start to tell him and you re-educate him. When he was sitting before even a Mexican was created, he was not first. His Indian brothers is there. When they mix with the Spanish, that's what they call Mex, meaning mix. Before, now he's racist against you in California and Arizona and many Western states. He talks against you because you don't even know your history. So he damns you. He used Africa as a basis because he used the European concept word Africa. You should stop using that. You should stop using that, brothers and sisters. You should stop using that. As a matter of fact, I had you start to get another, again, this is the Holy Land and so forth and so on. And there's another one I had here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I already showed it here. Now, I told you before, brothers and sisters, you young African Americans and you young Africans, wherever you may be, why don't you start naming your sons and your daughters names that are reflective, that have something to do with the continent? Yes, we use for 40 names. Arabic also is a dialect coming out from Africa, but some scholars say it does not. But we know black people spoke this language. You name your son Taseti. You name your son Tanahashi. You name your daughter Tamari. These are beautiful names that reflecting of you, black man and black woman. Africa in itself, under the European concept, is not reflective of you, because Africa in the European dialect means dark continent. Dark continent means a continent of tomfoolery, means a continent of stupidity, means a continent of no knowledge, a continent of mysticism that doesn't make sense. It's a continent of people in trees before they came who are so stupid. And that's why they have pictures of us in rainforest. You said us look like monkeys. We were so stupid, according to them, we didn't even know how to get out of the rain. So they called us Africa. They call us Africans, meaning dark continent. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm hoping that you get my picture and get the understanding of what you are. This is not a racist section here to damn the Asians or the Latinos or anything. No, it's not. No. But the people who I just aforementioned do damn you because they call you Africans. And when they call you Africans, they're using the European concept of Africa, meaning dark, stupid, ignorant, less than. Yes. See, you got to change that narrative. You African Americans who are teaching, I know your school systems will probably fire you for it if you try to change the narrative to give a different concept. When you start talking, when you have your history courses and you start talking about Africa as they have it, and you start to give them the evidence I gave you, you give your young children, even the Toubab children, give them the right history. Give them the right names so they can have a better understanding. And I'm hoping this will be reflective of you so you can understand that. These are Black people. This is the Kemtiyu. This is the ancient Kemetic people. The ancient Kemtiyu people. You see Africans today, African Americans, Jamaicans, and so forth. We have many murals and statutes and so forth, so on, that are reflective of these. Look at the similarities. Look at the similarities. This gives you a rich history, brothers and sisters, who you are. See, this is not Black nationalism. This is not Pan-Africanism, because that's based upon rhetoric and talk and feel-good moments. You go pop, Coca-Cola, you sit down there and you have popcorn and you hear the brother rap, talk a lot of stuff about this. Yes, fine, understand. Sometimes we need that. It's good. I'm giving you something more than that. I ain't here talking against anybody. I'm giving you who you are and what you really are and what your ancestors call themselves. I'm giving you that evidence. Okay, our brother, let me see. Let me get caught up here on our brothers here. Yes, comes from Kim. Yes, no, you got the reverse. The knowledge, Subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Kemetic people the knowledge. Because if you look at the hymn of Ra, it tells Tawheed, the oneness of Subhanahu wa ta'ala. You read this document, you'll find it in the coming book coming by day and night. This book is the quote unquote Bible of our ancient ancestors. In there, it talks about the confessions to Subhanahu wa ta'ala and all that. Now, Subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the knowledge to who the prophet was. We don't know who he was. The Prophet Muhammad said that each people were given a prophet to get an understanding of who Subhanahu wa ta'ala was. Whoever wrote these documents had to have inner knowledge of Subhanahu wa ta'ala because they had deep knowledge. The hymn of Ra is one of them. It's deep, very, very deep. And if you look at the Bible, it contains a lot of this information. Subhanahu wa ta'ala reconveyed this message to the Prophet because he's a prophet, just like there was a prophet in ancient Kemt as well, who gave the knowledge to the people. See, I'm giving you the concept of something so you can do your research. I'm going to say something else about this. We did a discussion, yes, on the series, but now I'm giving you something else, dear brother, that you can touch on when you go back to this issue. Because somebody asked many questions about this before. They said, well, what about the Muslims? What about the Muslims in the series? Well, yes, Subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed that issue. Now you have the evidence. I deliberately held this for weeks upon weeks. Now you have the evidence that is there. He talks about series. And he said, I'm the one who's behind it. I'm the one who's behind the mystery. I'm the one who's either I'm going to let you know what's there or I'm going to give you some indication. The Toubab has been, he's emphasized there's 2 stars. Our brothers in Mali, as you know, the doggone said, no, there's 3. And the ancient brothers who were writing inside Timbuktu, the documents we cannot get, talks about the issue of Sirius as well. Because Sirius belongs to the African continent. Everybody knows of Sirius because they begin to understand the light. But the understanding the significance of it, we did. It's not the Arabs. The Arabs had it. But Subhanahu wa ta'ala chastised them because they begin to understand the concepts of Sirius. He said, look, man, I'm telling you now, you want to start to worship this star you see there? No, I'm behind that. So he again reminds you. He reminds you again in Surah 91 by telling you, I'm behind the universe and the sun. Surah 91, verse 5. I'm behind it. Subhanahu wa ta'ala says. That's the Islamic connection to Sirius. Now you have this evidence. I need to ask about the Sufis, but yeah, okay, yes. There's a whole list of that. And again, but the Sufi people, you got to understand, we have a majority involved in innovations. I'm not representing them. I will not represent them. You see them doing weird things. No, that's not Sufism. That's brought forth by our Nabi alayhi salam. We do have Sufi mystics, and I'll get into one. You told me to talk a couple of weeks. Each time I want to get something comes up, we have Fulani mystics as well. You know, I gave you the subject. We have Fulani, Sufi mystics, okay? You know, mystic, Sufiyanki, as in Fufoli dialect, who went among the lions. I showed you the evidence. I showed you a picture of a brother who walked among the lions. I gave you the story what happened to him. These ancestral brothers had a deep knowledge of Africa and Subhanahu wa ta'ala. He tied in this relationship. See, he tied in this relationship. And our brother says Kem means yes. Kem is in the Neher is black. It's black. It's true. In Wolof, in Sire, in Mandinka, in many other different dialects of West Africa, Kem means black. It's there. And our brother said, do we have any similar hairstyles in Andalus too? No, because under the Muslims, we had, because most of the people wore turbans. So you didn't get to see their hairstyles and so forth and so on. That they were not part of the Kemtiyu per se. Even though the Fulani people came in there, the Fulani people who came in, along with the Sinike brothers and Bambara brothers, and Mandinka and Mende brothers who went into Andalus, they were Muslims. They came into Andalus, and they wore turbans and veils. Remember, I gave you the talk about that. See, and the Arabs found the Fulani brothers and sisters and Tuareg brothers and sisters. He found them, and he talked about them. And he gave a term, which I talked about many times, about them. So they came in the turbans and so forth and whatnot. And they did have wraps that looked like that as well. But our brothers entered Andalus with turbans on. See, they did, because we have depictions of them by the Toubab historians. The name, Tarhaka, yes, is part of that, yes. Pianka, they say Pianke, but Pianki. But Ki also is part. Ki Ka is very, very similar to that. Then again, this is again part of the religious designation. Even my ancestor, Shah-ba-ka. Shah region, area, place. Ka, the soul, the spirit. Ba, meaning the soul, the soul. Okay, so we have Shah-ba-ka, my name, Shah-ba-ka. If you look at it, it has a deeply religious meaning in ancient times. See, so, and our ancestors used this as a designation. And I doubt the Holy Land is in the middle. Yes, it's not in the Holy Land in regards to prophets. Yes, because Subhanahu wa ta'ala began to speak. but Subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to our ancient Kemetic brothers first. They spoke to them. Our ancient brothers began to name the land holy. Even the Arabs took these names of Afra-ka, meaning Queen of Heaven. It's a special Queen of Heaven. They did not say the Middle East is the Queen of Heaven. No, they said Afra-ka is the Queen of Heaven. You guys think about that. Afra-ka means Queen of Heaven. Afra-ka means Africa, as you understand it today. You know, and say that our brother here says that's why I support the full Muslims. Also say that they are dead. You know, but you know, when we get into the difference, I heard many. I even have Fulani brothers and sisters. Is a beautiful sister in Facebook. She's got her site. She made it, and I couldn't find her response again. She made a response, but again about the Fulani people. She's trying to say you can't be Fulani if you this. I've heard this argument before where they talk about Fulani people, so forth and so on. I've heard argument the Western Corridor. If you're not from this region, you can't be Fulani. If you're in Northern Nigeria, you can't be. All this stupid talk. I don't go into that. It's stupid. We don't understand what tribes, Dan, and so forth and so on, because we know that the Hebrews and them, we know that the Yoruba people, we know that the Akan people, because we have the Akan and Yoruba languages intermixed in that. They say they became the Hebrews, not the Fulani people. The Fulani people might have accepted that, but the Fulani people were known as the sow and cow people. And they were mining cattle, and they did transverse into Jazira Arab, no doubt. And they came back into Kemp. When the Great Migration happened, they left the Exodus, they left to go across and went into North Africa. And it was still known as Ka and Sa, Sao, which how many people today have the name Sao? How many people still have the words Ka in their names? Also, Ba is also prevalent, even in Hausa, Ba. See, so all this, brothers and sisters, is very, very interesting. Okay, our brother Sears says here, boy, I don't know where his thing here. Let me, okay, soon doesn't like connecting Kemetic history. Yes, yes, they don't. And you know, and because it's a misunderstanding. We got to understand something. Subhanahu wa ta'ala talked to the ancient brothers first. There's no Islam. They gave Subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our prophet told us that he sent Subhanahu wa ta'ala to all nations. So how is it that our prophet tells us that, then he didn't send them to the black people, okay, because all people were black at the time, but he gave knowledge to our ancient ancestors. When they wrote a book on Tawheed, okay, the papyrus of Ra, meaning the hidden source behind the sun, is Tawheed. It's the oneness. I gave a class on this. It's the oneness, well before Islam. The Prophet ﷺ was the final messenger because Subhanahu wa ta'ala explained to the Prophet ﷺ that all the other books were corrupted. Our ancient Kemetic people were killed off, and they became West Africans because they left the carnage and murder by the Europeans. And they came to North Africa and into West Africa, and they became the West Africans and the North Africans. The Amazigh people that you know as Berber, which I have that heritage also, were known in ancient times as Mozart people. They left ancient Egypt and they came and they became the Tuareg people. The Tuareg and the Fulani lived in the Sahara for time immemorial. That's why our cultures are so mixed. It's very difficult to tell who is Fulani and who is Amazigh or Tuareg. We have that. But the Kemetic history is included in this. And I gave a course in this. I'm going to show you something else about this. Why did Subhanahu wa ta'ala, this computer always wanted every time I write in the Afra-ka. Now, let's look at something. Vincent, here's another research for you. Subhanahu wa ta'ala calls Mecca Baka. There's that Ba-ka again, isn't it? Huh? Subhanahu wa ta'ala calls Mecca Baka. It's a sacred place. Sufi mystics know this and they talk about this issue and they explain Baka more deeply than many of our Islamic scholars who don't have the basis of this deeper knowledge. Now, second to that is, now you know it today as Kaaba. See, you know that today as Kaaba. That's what we circle, right? Look at that word, Kaaba. Huh? Look at that. Look at that. Huh? Where's the connection? Ra-ka-ba. Ra-ka-ba. See? Huh? Kaaba. Kaaba. Ba-ka. Subhanahu wa ta'ala calls it a sacred place. Kaaba is meaning sacred. Meaning sacred. Because it has to do with your soul and your spirit. Ka and Ba. Where is the soul and your spirit meeting in Mecca today, which they call in modern times Mecca? They met it, he said, they met in a place called Baka. The Sufi Muslim, the mystic scholars understood this concept more than most Muslim scholars today, because they don't. They'll tell you, well, in modern Arabic it means a place of gathering. But there's a deeper meaning, because how can Subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, he called it Baka. He called the place Baka. This is why I said, brothers and sisters, this is a very deep conversation. And the place of the gathering of the worshiping, the purification of the soul and the spirit and the soul is where? At the Kaaba. We circle it, right? In Arabic, because Arabic is linguistic, Kaaba, Kaaba. But it's Kaaba, Kaaba. Now, that's for, yes, the Muslims do not like that, but they don't want to give you, when I asked the Muslims, when I did this, I had some brothers telling me I was bringing kufr, shirk, balagh. They were talking crazy. And I told them, I know better than that. But you have to understand something. And when I start to give them that, they shut up. I said, why did Subhanahu wa ta'ala called Mecca Baka? And he calls the Kaaba. See, all of this. See, so this is the interesting situation, again, why this is very puzzling to a lot of people. I have no understanding of the information connecting Islam, and I totally agree with you, Sheikh. Yes, you have the basis of doing your research. This is the best part for you to do your research and to get a better understanding. See, and this will help you. Yes, they are. They were that, my dear brother. Yes, they were of that, because the people, because as the Amun-Ra was in the first dynasties of the first kingdom, right? We know that the old kingdom, they had the concept of Kaaba, because you look at many, especially the second dynasty, you find many of the pharaohs with the last name Ka and Kara in it. The Fulani people still carry those names today. One of the great pharaohs of the 15th dynasty, his name was Ka. And we still carry that today. See, so all of this should pique your interest. And I was under the impression that Sufism came from, no, the Sufism came from the Prophet ﷺ. It's just that the people begin to take it and they begin to change it around. That's why you have people doing all kind of weird things. This is what we call in the Arabic language Sufi bid'ah, meaning Sufi, I won't get deeper because I got to do a class on this. I don't want to get deep into Sufism per se, because most of the Sufis today are not within the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. They're outside of it. And they start to drift further away from Islam. I'm a part of those people there. They begin to do things and that's outside the Sunnah. Here we're talking about Sufi mystics who were deep into the Sunnah of the Prophet, but they were given deeper understanding, like the Kaaba, the Baka. This Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says it in the Quran. He says this in the Quran. See, he called it Baka, Mecca, as you know it today. In later surahs, he did use the word Mecca, but in the first, he calls it Baka, a sacred place. Part of the name of Afra-ka or Afra-ka. There it is, right? See? So again, this should give you some basis of understanding. See, this should give you some basis, brothers and sisters, of understanding today. And I'm hoping that you guys have that because it is so important. You standing there as a black man, now you should have a deeper understanding about who you are as a black man. You're just not only black in color, dark brown or whatever, and you're not just only a Fulani, or you are a Hausa, or you're a Khan, or you're Mende or Mendika. You're more than that. That what you are is everything I talk about today. You are Ka and Ba. You black man, you are Ka and Ba. Because you lived on the continent, that continent name reflects who you are. Ka and Ba, meaning the spirit and the soul. You named the continent in that relationship to what you were told by the prophets at the time in Africa, here on this continent, for your understanding of the concept of Tawheed, meaning the oneness of God. Kaaba is the ancient Tawheed, which the final Tawheed, which was purified by the Prophet ﷺ, because even our ancient brothers began to corrupt the concept of Ka. As you know, they did. They begin to be polytheists, and many of the kingdoms in dynasties, they start to adopt it. This is typical all human. Just like today in Islam, we have many polytheists they say they're Muslims, but they're polytheists. They're what we call mushrikeens. They're basically that. So now you have this concept, brothers and sisters, for you to understand that, because it's very essential that you, black man, you are a situation that you are Ka and Ba. That's who you are. See, that's what you are, Ka and Ba. You are spirit and you are soul, and you are put on a continent, and the continent carried these names that reflect who you are. And you reflected what Subhanahu wa Ta'ala told you, and he said, look, I'm putting you in this land. And you named this land in reflection of that. There's the Adhan behind us here. It's time for me to get ready for my prayer for first evening prayer. But I want you to have this understanding here today, brothers and sisters. I'm hoping that piqued your interest on this, and I'm hoping others. But I know this will not get out, because probably I know what has happened in YouTube, because I had many difficulties even getting into it. I've got the enemy. They'll tell me that only 5 people, because now there's only very few people are getting notifications of my talk. Very few. So I know what's going to happen. When they leave it alone, I get 1,000 or so. But they are tampering with it. I don't know how. I complained about this many times. I know that more than 100 people saw this, and they'll say that, and it'll stay at 100 for days upon days. they're doing everything they can. But I told the Toubab, basically, nobody's stopping you. Why don't you come on my show or you come on YouTube and you explain your philosophies, what you hear and what about Islam and about Kaaba. We want to hear what you have to say. They can't. They cannot talk about that. But these are the names, brothers and sisters, that you should use. Now you have a better understanding. Afra-ka. Ka again. See, it's the essence of you as a black man is Ka. Your spirit and your relationship with Subhanahu wa ta'ala, with who he is. You are related. That's why you are a black man. Black man has nothing to do with you per se as color. But you were given this color by Subhanahu wa ta'ala. So our ancient ancestors called you Kemtiyu, meaning you, black man by itself. Black people, Kemtiyu is all. Kemti is one. So now you have that. Now you have the understanding of who you are and the basis of that. You have all of these names to go by. Afra-ka. Again, there's that word ka again, meaning our Fulani brothers and our doggone brothers gave a good definition of what this continent of Africa, it was the understanding meaning. It means the first, it means the sun, and it means the soul. This is the black man. You are the first ones. You're connected to the sun because Subhanahu wa ta'ala, you say, well, what are you talking about? Yeah, I don't understand what you're talking about. You don't worship the sun? No. There's no concepts that told us to worship. It's the exact opposite. If you understand what Ra means the hidden source behind the sun. The sun in this relationship to you, black man, is mean that you can stand in it. You don't get skin cancer for waddling in the sunlight. The Europeans and others do. He made you melanated to the point where you can stand a lot of sun rays. Here in Africa, we get more than anybody else. You know that. You live on this continent. Oh, man. Whew. The sunlight here is very, very intense. See? First, meaning you're the first human beings, the first ones put on this continent. The sun already gave it to you. Means the worship of the person who's behind it, means the entity, meaning Subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning you, black man, meaning you can stand in the sun and you don't get hurt. And the soul means your worship, meaning your spirit is connection to Subhanahu wa ta'ala in the heavens. See, so you have all that. Now for the Muslims who say that it's the Middle East, it's not the Middle East. Ifriqiya means the Queen of Heaven. Again, it goes, the Middle East is where the prophets of old gathered and Subhanahu wa ta'ala chose them. But there was a prophet in ancient Egypt as well, because the Nabi said all people were given prophets, all. But the final word was given to Prophet Muhammad, and we know that as a fact. And he refined all of these definitions and meanings. He refined it. See? So this here should give you the big indication of who you are and so forth. And this is why this is a long course for you to go back over and you can get a better understanding. And again, Ra, Ka, Ba. The sun, the spirit is Ka, Ba is the soul, Ra is the source behind it, meaning Subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Subhanahu wa ta'ala says Rahim. See, there it's there. See, and the Sufi mystics talked about this issue repeatedly again. And this is something our dear brother said, please subscribe. Yes, please subscribe and please pass this video on. I know a lot of people won't be able to see this because they will know. I had a brother tell me he thought I left. He thought I was finished until he just happened to pull my name up. He saw over 20 videos because he's never got any notifications at all. It's really a shame. It's really, really a shame that this, this comes about. And so there's no more questions. I'll go a little bit over the recap. I want to show these pictures again because this is important, brothers and sisters. What what very, very, how can I say, helps me to get a better understanding is we look at the murals and we look at our sisters, look at our little daughters here in present day Egypt today. They still have this, our people are still dressing our daughters the same way they did in ancient times. We know the Fulani, especially in particular like this, still braid their hair in this fashion. Now you see this beautiful concept of that, and that is something that is very beautiful. We have people still in modern day Egypt are like this. You don't hear about these people because you don't see this, because you only see the white Arabs or the people who are in ancient Egypt, in modern day Egypt, but to the south, they're black people. And you have all kind of people, and you still have some who are like this, who still dress and still have hairstyles in like that in ancient times, as you can see to your left. All of this, brothers and sisters, should give you indication of who you are. In ancient times versus modern times, we have our people who look like this because why? This is you. This is your designation that ties you into ancient Kemt. This ties you, this is your DNA. This ties you into it. What I find interesting, brothers and sisters, this is Sirius, that bright star there. Our ancestors cracked the nut. They cracked the mysteries of it and gave us the solar system and told us there's the third star to it. Subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us that he's the master of it, as you saw the evidence that I gave you. Again, tying Islam. Islam talked about this issue because Subhanahu wa ta'ala talked to the prophets to give them information about Sirius. But it was refined more so with the Prophet ﷺ because Subhanahu wa ta'ala refined it more to explain it better by telling you, don't worship that sun that started. You see this bright into the heavens. Don't. He tells you that. So now our Muslim brothers who are looking at this today, you can do your research on this. No one is saying that Islam and ancient Egypt are the same. It's not true, because the Prophet gave the Nabi gave the final, he was given the final message. He cleaned up a lot of things that was not clear. Many of the mysteries that we talked about in ancient times, was cleared up with the Muslims. This is one of the mysteries about Sirius. Subhanahu wa ta'ala cleared it up. He tells you straight out, I'm the master behind it. I'm the one who created. Subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us also about the aliens, quote unquote, the interstellar beings that everybody's talking about now. He says in there, as our scholars translate this, he says that it's him who will allow us to meet. See, and now suddenly he's been exposing star systems that we didn't see until recent times, like 2016. Now this Proxima B and all this kind of stuff was finally found. Here it is very close to Earth. All these 100 years, we never saw it. Subhanahu wa ta'ala finally said, I'm going to show it to you now. So now you have this, brothers and sisters. Now you have this basis. We have Sufi mystics like this brother here who understand the concepts that I taught today. And there's more concepts I didn't get into. Fulani mystic scholars I will cover in time, especially one that I really love a lot. And I'll give you his name. I gave you his name and I gave you some portions. I'll get more into him, inshallah, bi'ithnillah. He talked about, but we, all the Africans, we have different appearances and look, and we are the same. We are black people. And now you understand, we are the people of Ka. We are the people of Ra and Ba. When our brothers and sisters begin to look up into the heavens without telescopes, Subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them information so they can pass on to future generations. They begin to look up into the sky and they begin to chart out the solar systems. See, so this is a very interesting phenomenon. So I'm hoping, brothers and sisters, that you got a good glimpse of this. And again, to prove that you, black man, are the ones who are orchestrating, you now should understand that you were in Kempt. It was you who were the ancient Egyptians, not the Toubab. Even the Toubab historian, in the 27th dynasty, even said, still to this in that time, that the people are still black. The Ethiopians we know today are still black today. After all these thousands of years, the people you call Nubians are still black. Our ancient Egyptian brothers and sisters had a term for them, again, for the differences in black people. And I gave it to you here. Let me give it to you again so you can understand it. The concepts of blackness that our ancient ancestors talked about. They used the terms again, Kemtiyu, meaning black people, and Neheshi. Neheshi means a very black person. Because not all black people are the same. Not all black people are all the same color. We have different shades of blackness and dark brownness in us. But we also designated that. And we even called the land we know as Nubia, we call it Neheshi, Ta Neheshi. We called it that, meaning very, very black people. They established these codes of conduct that amplitude our blackness. So now you understand what it is actually to mean a black person, to be black. It's more than just your color. It has something to do with religious affiliations, which I gave this to you today. So you should have a better concept and understanding. You should have a better understanding. And thanks to our mystic scholars who, again, were ahead of their time and began to explain many of the concepts that I talked about today. And so now you should get this understanding and have this understanding and run with it, because it's something that that is very important. And I'm hoping, brothers and sisters, that this give you okay, our brother here. So I'm wondering if there's life on our brothers in ancient times and what we call in modern times now, but 600 AD at the time of Islam, and many after that, running from Morocco all the way down to South Africa, said that we had interstellar beings from this star system. This is why Sirius belongs to Africa, because we were visited, they said, by extraterrestrials from this star system. That's how we gained the knowledge of the universe, because they said when they came down, they gave us all this information. We also know that we believe they came down into ancient Kempt, because how can the Kemetic people, our brothers and sisters, have all this knowledge of the inner space without any telescopes? It wasn't a modern time until they started to confirm this. The Toubab confirmed it with their telescopes. So this is all a, uploaded from Ancestry to my updated to give me three. Yeah, well, yes. But you know what? Go to JetMatch. All you should go to JetMatch, send your DNA there, and you'll get a better analysis, deeper analysis. And matter of fact, I want to talk about this, then I will close. Yes, I have that. I want to show you something, and I had it here, and they removed it. Because you know how we know our enemy, how they are transposing things. I'm gonna bring something to you, because there was some comment that was made to me, and I think the person's Toubab, but I want to get this cleared up. Anyway, somebody asked a question about this, and I'm going to put this in here of my DNA. I want you guys to see this, because somebody there was a comment made by some Toubab that made a comment. I know it's a Toubab that made this comment about this, but you see it's kind of small print, but I think maybe you can see it from your camera. You see, this is my heritage. You see Nigeria there. See, and you see Fulani. See, this is part of this and why I care so much about Nigeria, because this is the beginning focus of when my ancestors began to come in, the Fulani people, and begin Muslims, they came into northern Nigeria. This is my foundation for my heritage, is there, northern Nigeria. Okay. Now, so you see that because I had comments that was made, and I always make this comment to them to say, well, okay, so you trying to say I'm Chinese? Now, with my kind of skin color, I'm a Chinese. And now you look, the first 7 entries are what? Fulani. This is my heritage, brothers and sisters. And of course, there's no such thing. That's why I wanted to talk to the sister on Facebook. She was talking kind of crazy. She's saying that the people on the West are pure Fulani. There's no such thing. No Fulani person today is pure. There's none. Because the Fulani jihads from 700 made sure that was not going to happen anymore. Because the jihad of the Fulani was so strong, they began to take wives, Moroccan wives. They took wives in Spain. They took Amazigh. They took all kind. They intermixed with other ethnic groups when they made their jihad. So there's no such thing as a pure Fulani. And I tried to get the sisters when she made this comment, and a lot of brothers chimed into it. But when I went to go get it again, it was taken out. So I couldn't find it anymore. But I'm going to see if I get it. And I'm going to correct the sister on this, because she's not pure Fulani. She's crazy to say that, because she tried to make a designation and it's wrong what she said. But this is my heritage. And you see the first 7 entries has to do with the Fulani people. 8 entries, excuse me. See, and then look at, you see number 9, the Kaaba people. Huh? There we go again, huh? The Kaaba people. The Kaaba people are people related to the Fulani people. And they call them Kaaba. Huh? Here we go again, right? Here we go again. You see, also, there's in my heritage, I have a little bit of Hausa. And again, there's the Fulani, there's the Mendinka, because I have cousins in the Gambia who are Mendinka. And then we have the Kaaba people again. See, this is, again, I wanted to show that because there was a comment made and I want to clear that up. Somebody said, oh, you're not Fulani. You're not Sudani. You're not this. You're not that. So I said, well, what do you think I am? You say I'm Chinese? Huh? Well, a man who looked like me, where do you think where I originate from? I didn't originate from China. So when this Toubab was talking this craziness, I said, no, what are you trying to say? You said I'm a Fulani, so what am I? So I wanted to clear that up so you guys can get that picture and to understand why I care so much about Nigeria, because this is where basis of my DNA is, and also in Guinea. But the basis of it in JetMatch showed me, they broke it down for me, is Nigeria. And I have all, and because I mixed with the Mozart people, especially if you saw my sister's DNA, it shows the Mozart people are the Tuareg and the Amazigh people we know today. My sister has 25% of that. Again, because we have mixed. There's no such thing as the pure Fulani person. No, there's no way. So I wanted that aspect. And we have another question here, or another comment here. Okay, wait a minute. We get here. Our brother says, oh, yeah, here. Okay, our brother says, yeah, yes. That's very interesting. My heritage. So anyone who says anything anymore, they come back to that, and that should clear that up. And this is the Kaaba people also. That's funny, isn't it? Kaaba. Same as Kaaba, right? And we call the Middle East, right? That we go around. They call themselves the Kaaba people. I got that heritage. My cousin here has that heritage also. See, so this, this is a very interesting thing, and I'm hoping, brothers and sisters, check out who's the majority, yes, and see, you'll know. And again, whoever this, like our sister, I tried to find her thing today to send her this so she can look at this, because I had to correct her, because I want her to explain to me, how how she can no, excuse me, no, it's not there. Where it is again here. She explained to me this other. So since I have these other here, what does that mean? That means I can't be Fulani. That's silly, because my bloodline is 76. You understand what I mean? My bloodline is 76%. So 70 Fulani, come on, please now. So, you know, so she doesn't know what she's talking about. Okay, she doesn't know 81%. Also, there, you know, the highest is 81% of my heritage is Fulani. So the lady, she's off cue, and I wanted to correct her, but I couldn't find her back in Facebook. But I wanted to get that clear up. So I want to get that, why somebody made a comment to me about, oh, why are you talking the Fulani people in Nigeria? Well, damn it, that's what I am. That's where most of my heritage is coming from. So why should I care? And I got many relatives there. Many relatives there in, and I have brothers that look just like me. I look like them and they look like me. So all that is tied in. So brothers and sisters, you know, I got this to you today, and I'm hoping that you guys got something out of this talk today. It's very long, so you pick out portions. Please spread this for me so other people who want to understand about what you are as a black man. It's more than just being African American. That's nothing. Now you understand the concept of being black. The Sufi Muslim explains to you that a black man is Ra, Ka, and Ba. You're tied in to being the first human being, your relationship to the sun, because Subhanahu wa ta'ala says you worship the creation behind it. The creator of the sun, which is him. He allows you to withstand the sun rays. See, so now you have those bases, and then the soul. Now you understand that why in all our languages, there's always Ka in there. Have you noticed that? Anyone who, we have African brothers here, you speak many dialects, you see Ka, Ba in our languages a lot. See? You don't see it in Chinese and others because they were not the first human beings we were. Subhanahu wa ta'ala want to make sure that we understand this concept of him. He gave you the concept of you to understand that Ka and Ba, your soul. As I explained, I will close. Your body is not yours. It's yours in the sense that Subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to you as a loan to hold your spirit. When you die, that body disintegrates. Your spirit then leaves. See? And so now you have this concept, and I'm hoping that you guys, yes, Ra, Ka, Ba, yes. Now you have a good understanding. And I know our brother here, King Cam, was making a comment the other day. I see on one of his programs, he was talking about the people on YouTube, and a lot of people are not doing research and so forth and so on. There's a lot of stuff out there now, and you know, and I don't really want to talk much. I don't follow them, but I like to look at everybody's program. Why? Because we learn. It's like I go to King Cam's program. He's refreshed me on a lot of things I forgot about. And there's things I didn't even know about, but I've been refreshed because I watch this program. You got to watch other Africans, okay, our brothers, okay, our other Kemtiyu brothers. You go to watch them. You pick up information here and there. And that's why you can maintain this knowledge. But you should maintain and understand why you are black. It's not because of curse that the Europeans said. Now you should understand what you are. And now it's a beautiful concept of what you are being black. It's a beautiful concept. Now you understand the connection between you and Subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gives it to you even in your languages. The West African dialects are filled with Ra, Ka, and Ba. Filled with that. See? And our brother always says this, yes, we learn together. That's right. We all learn together. And that's a concept that, again, we as black people, we have that. Who's the most loving people on this earth? We are. Who's the most forgiving? Is us to a fault. All of this stuff is because of the deep, deep, deep nature that he gave us of being a black man, being Kemtiyu. Now you have that. Now you understand that concept. See, and boy, and being Neheshi, meaning black, 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 Neheshi. That's a beautiful name for a boy. Beautiful name. Tamari is a beautiful name for a girl. That's the ancient name for Egypt or Kemt, Tamari, holy place. We have beautiful languages, brothers and sisters. And you young brothers and sisters, I hope you start to name your children with these beautiful names like that. But now you understand. When somebody talks about somebody black, you say, yeah, I'm Neheshi. Instead of saying I'm black and I'm an Afro-American, I'm this and that, you say, yeah, I'm Neheshi. Then it's going to blow people away. They say, what are you talking about? You using your ancestors' dialect. Yeah, I'm Neheshi. I come from Ta-Nehesi. Ta-Nehesi is Balad, Sudan, the land of black people. So you can now say, I'm Neheshi. I'm Neheshi. See? And it's a beautiful designation. Now you guys have that from the elder today. You guys take that information and then you guys run with that. And I'm hoping that you guys get something out of it. And I got to leave you. I got to make my prayer because my wife's over here. I know she's praying. I hear her. And I got to make my prayer. I shouldn't be late for that. But Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, hope bless me for this teaching today and gift of knowledge to my brothers and sisters. And then you guys take it. And then you guys do your courses. Get in YouTube or whatever and teach. There's nothing wrong with that. And I don't care what information you guys use. The information is good. Fine. That's what we should do. We should do this and help, especially our young black folks, bring them up to speed so they'll stop this craziness and stuff that's going on with them and all this calling each other the N-word and all this other crazy stuff that we still doing today. We should be able to. I'd rather have a brother say, hey, Neheshi, how you doing, brother? And you say, black man, you can say that. Instead, you call him Neheshi. Hey, Neheshi. My Neheshi brothers over here, my black brothers. My very black brothers, Neheshi. This is our destination, brothers. You understand? This is ours. This is ours. This is our designation. Instead of calling him the nigger, excuse me, I'm going to get flagged for that. You don't call him that no more. You call him Neheshi. My Neheshi brothers over here. I'm Neheshi. These my Neheshi brothers and sisters over here. You start using those designations. See? That's ours. That's ours, brothers and sisters. That's ours from our own dialect. Neheshi. How beautiful is that? That's better than Negro, isn't it? That's better than black or African American, isn't it? Neheshi, isn't it? It's better. Start to learn that, speak it, and once you start to use it, it'll start to spread. And once it starts to spread, our black people all over the place will start to, I'm talking about those outside the continent, because we have trouble with blackness outside the continent. Use Neheshi. Use Neheshi. It's better. I'm Neheshi. Somebody said, man, what are you, man? What's your, I'm Neheshi. And they said, the Toubab, what are you talking about? This is meaning black people. Or you can say, if you really want to be technical, you say, I'm Kemti. I'm Kemti. Meaning I'm black. I'm a black man. I'm Kemti. Start using that. Start spreading that. Neheshi and Kemti. Kemti, you mean all. I'm Kemti. I'm black. The Toubab asked, what are you? I'm Kemti. I'm Neheshi. Now you have that, brothers and sisters. Please run with that. Please run with that. And you guys use it. Okay? And yes, name Makeda. Yes, thank you, brother. Thank you, my dear cousin. Yes, it's a beautiful name for a child. You know who Makeda is? Queen of Sheba. You know about that? That's her name. That's a beautiful name for a girl. And I forgot the meaning. It has a meaning. I forgot the meaning of it. I saw it. I did a class on it, but I can't remember it now. But it has a meaning. It's beautiful. And our brother here talked here, and he's also saying our language and culture. Yes, it is. It's ours. So now, brothers and sisters, you have the basis. It's Neheshi. Let me write that for you. It's Neheshi, and there's other variations of that as well. But here we go. Yes, we got that. Well, come on now. Where did it go? It's not letting me. It's funny. Okay, there it is. Yeah, that's the pronunciation Neheshi, and Neheshi, and that's our brother says here, Kemti sounds nice, kind of like yes. It's Kemti is black man. One person, you, me, we're black. Kemti. Somebody says, hey man, I saw this brother over here, and he said, what was it? Oh, he's Kemti. He's Kemti. He's a black man. He's Neheshi. So who's these guys over here? Yeah, well, this guy over here, the brother standing over in the green, he's Neheshi. He's Kemti. That's our languages. And it's not, it's a badge of honor. It's not derogatory. Oh, he's a Negro. That's derogatory. He's colored. That's derogatory. He's the N-word. That's derogatory. He's colored. That's derogatory. He's shine. That's derogatory. All the names that the Toubab give us, all that's derogatory. He's African. That's derogatory. Now you have the basis of what you should call your brothers and sisters and yourself, and you know, and yes, you did discuss. Yeah, it's right. It's a beautiful story, isn't it? It's a beautiful story of her. Beautiful. So, brothers and sisters, I got to get here, and hopefully now that you guys got something out of this, and I'll probably write a paper about this, and I'm gonna. If you guys think it's a good suggestion, please confirm with me today in the chat or whatever. If you want to be on a mailing list, because I want to make sure my brothers and sisters get these, because my talks are unorthodox. Sometimes I'm going to be very fiery and I'm going to be very harsh, but that's me as an elder, and I have to speak the truth. And I want you guys to get these lessons so that way you can have it and you can run with it and whatnot. See, and apparently YouTube is not in the business of spreading my knowledge. Please write a blog on it. I don't know how to do this because I had to learn as I go. I learned the SteamYard by chance, and I don't know blogging. I don't know anything how to do it. I had one brother, but I haven't seen him. I thought he's loud. I thought he went back to the United States. He was here in Morocco, and he was helping us a lot. I don't think he's here anymore. I'm not sure, but this will help. Join Bubba's email. So we, yes, and I'll give you that here, so that way you guys can have it. But it's compromised because I think I'm gonna have to start to go to YouTube. I mean, go to WhatsApp, because that's more better, than the others. But this is it, because everything is compromised. This is my email that I have here, and I got to probably talk a little bit more with King Cam to give me some suggestions on this. Okay, what's going on here? Yeah, okay, yeah, this is my email here. This is the most secure email. This is for those who want to write me, but I think I may have to go to WhatsApp. I got a feeling that's probably gonna be better to do that and whatnot. And our brother said we have to teach this stuff to our generation. Yes, you're very welcome, Mayate, my dear cousin. Yes, we should teach our young generation, because I want to be able to see on TV when the young brothers talk about another brother, instead of them calling him the N-word, he called him Neheshi. That's what I want here. Okay, that's what I want, or Kemti. That's what they say. Hey man, I love Kemtiyu. I love black people. Instead of calling the Negro, the N-word. You know what I mean? Now you'll have this basis you can call Neheshi. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Or Kemti or Kemtiyu. This is what we should be calling ourselves. See, and when we designate something, somebody wants to know, you call that. And hopefully, brothers and sisters, today, this gives you the make it a paper and then post it as a blog. Okay, I got okay. Yes, thank you, my dear brother. Yes, so you can get because I'm ignorant as far as these blogs, and so I'm very ignorant. Heard are good platforms. I don't know who they are. I heard of. I don't know who they are. Maybe you can refresh. You got my email address there now. Maybe you can send me something because I don't know who they are. And that'd be good even for our other brothers and sisters. Let me put that up there again. Yes, I don't know who they are. Good platforms, but you please maybe send something to the email or put something here, post it here on the show, and we can get that information because if we all can have it, this would be a great thing for us. And yeah, and our brother said, let's make it happen. Yes, yeah, I will do that because this is a talk that's unorthodox, but again, it's something, and it may be too rich for a lot of people because a lot of people who are black are just satisfied in that they don't want to hear nothing else, and they're going to resent this type of talk. But then we have others who want to, want something, and they know there's something deeper than just being a black man, but they didn't understand the essence of being black. I explained it today of being a black man. It's more than just being a black man. It's not has to do with your melanin in the skin. That's part of it, but that's only small. You are the ta, you are the ra and ka and ba. That's what you are, and that blackness is a badge of honor that Subhanahu gave you, meaning for you to withstand the sun. That you look up there and you know He's behind it. So you get these concepts about who you are and the concepts of being black. And I hope I did explain that to you guys today. So with that said, brothers and sisters, I got to go. Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Anzurama. Thank you very much. Until next time, my dear brothers and sisters.